Hello, darling.
Hey, how are you?
Wonderful. And yourself?
Good. I need a prize today. It's the first time I'm early.
Yeah, well, not only are you early, you are helping me with the whole experience, from what I understand.
Well, that's what Jared told me. And I'm like, Jared, I don't mind. I will not say no. But I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. But he's like, just talk about the experience. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, well, like that would be especially helpful. I'm at my friend's place because my internet, I got a warning to say that I
Yeah.
was going to be out of power.
Oh,
Or out of internet today. And so I came to my friends. And so I was like, hey, you guys have an awesome Star Wars that goes right in front of his desk. And I was like, you have to clean nothing. So it's just like, here we are.
that's so funny.
I know.
Since nobody else is with us right now, I just want to say personally, thank you very much for everything you're doing. Your outlook is always so positive. You're just, I love your energy and that you're always smiling when you're talking. It's all those things. It's even the nonverbal, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you pick up on someone. And I think that's so important. And I told Jared, like, in the beginning, I didn't know what my place is in this other than providing a song, but then it's like we've become this family. And
Yeah.
I wish I could be more involved and attending some more of your sessions. I'll be honest, Laura, the thing is, like, I have a lot going on with the music side of things. So
Good.
it's a little bit challenging. Yeah, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. But when I do get together, every 2 weeks to do this, I'm just like, I love it. And I think it's just such a great energy.
Yeah.
And I told Jared, sometimes I'm quiet, but I'm that person who, it's not like I have problems talking. Like, I also do motivational speaking and everything else. But I think you need to, especially when you're starting something, sit back and listen, because I want to try and understand people and see where they're coming from. And then you can see more clearly personalities.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about energies and who is feeling great about things, who's having a little bit of reservation, I can see all that because I'm quiet and I'm just sitting back and I'm just listening and feeling. And it's not judging people, but it helps you when you want to interact with people or you want to explain something. You'll know better how to explain it to that person because you know where they're at right now, or another person where they're at. So it's all interesting, to me. But I think sometimes you don't have to be the most vocal person. You could be quiet, but you're really feeling what's going on, and it makes for a better environment.
Yeah. Well, not everyone can speak all the time, right? So you have to have the
That's
people that sit back and listen more. And then when you speak, what you say is heard because
yeah.
you've respected everyone and everything leading up to that point. When then you do speak your own truth, it's like, ooh, I feel that because you're aligned and you're resonant.
Yes. And the other thing I've said to Jared is you also, when you do speak, you want to, even if it's just a short thing, you want to add something of value. It's not like I just want to speak so I can speak, and add something or anything to the conversation. I'd like to have something that is relevant to what we're talking about, or, will in some way enrich what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
So,
wonder. Oh, somebody has joined the wrong summit. Your participants have joined. I can't start 2 meetings at one time. What am I to do?
I thought you were a superwoman. Do you want me to text someone or?
Yeah, almost, except for in order to start that meeting, I would have to end this one.
Well, do you want us to move over? But I guess we're afraid then people would join this one because this is the one we're supposed to be on.
Eric just got here. So maybe can we do an emergency post over to the Facebook group? And hello and welcome, Eric. Great to have you on tonight. Your audio is still connecting. It appears that we have people going to my other meeting link, so we're trying to get that sorted over on Facebook. Darn it. That's the problem when you have multiple meetings.
Yep.
And you only have one line. Are you posting over to the group.
Yeah, it's the Mystic Music Summit, right? Group, isn't it? Or is that what it's called?
It's called Peaceful Inner
Oh,
Warrior.
thank you.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I know we need to standardize the
Yeah, it again, it's that lots of information, and you try and
yeah.
So hi guys, please make sure you connect.
Amazing. And Eric, I haven't had a chance to actually do the song yet, or those pieces. And when Denise had actually first received a nudge, that she actually had said, "Oh, I hear I am enough." Just FYI. So I'll put that to you and then say that we can have a conversation offline afterwards. Because yeah, carry on.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, I love it. And so the two lyrics that I sent you plus the one that you just said, yeah, that'd be great. And in some way, having them be put into the context flow of the song, yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. Okay, yeah. And the cool thing about this is that Eric is actually, he submitted a song he had designed based on one of the videos that he was exposed to through this summit, or the summit series, in fact. I've just kind of stepped into recording mode, to be honest, because I feel like what we've already done has been so valuable, Susie, truly. Like, we've already started this out and we're already in flow. And it's just like, part of the thing I have a difficulty with as someone that's running these is the fact that it's just like, at what point do you start the video? Because it's like there's so much brilliance that comes before that, and then it's about honoring and respecting people's boundaries too. And then it's also about, are there still people in that other chat room, and how do I let them know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did put the, hi guys, please be sure you connect on Zoom right now using this link, and I added the link on our page.
Oh, good.
I don't know if people are going to see that, but.
Oh, the email. Jared's here. Welcome, Jared. You didn't have to go to the wrong place first, did you?
No.
Okay.
Hi, Jared.
Somebody else is in the wrong meetup group, and I can't start it because I'm already in this meeting.
Oh.
So if you could send out an email to everybody right now with the link for here, that would be the best way for us to communicate with everybody. Because
all right, was that I didn't know if the link. Okay, so Susie, did you use the link I gave you earlier?
Yeah, you know how you send us that this is the link to join? Yeah, what I did, I made the same mistake earlier on, is that, if you put it in your calendar, and I use the Zoom link, right? When you add the meeting, when you accept, sometimes it would transfer over the same link from the last meeting. So I didn't notice that. And once I didn't know which link to go to, and then you had sent out your message, which is great, what you do like a day before. And yeah, so now I always use the one that you send out more recently.
Okay. All right, I'll send that out.
And just curious, Jared, did I drop off your mail list? This is Eric. The only reason I asked is because the reason I'm even on this is because I get the Peaceful Inner Warrior emails, and so Laura, I just found it on there.
Yeah, that's what I'd switched to doing was mostly on that, and then the few names that are additional outside of that, I was giving invitations to. But if you'd like, Eric, I can keep giving you invitations.
No, it was just because I know when I got those emails before, I was like, okay, yep, there's the email from Jared, and it was easy. However, the Peaceful Inner Warriors email was easy to find as well.
Okay. I will get back on that.
Beautiful. We are 9 minutes into it, and there are only 4 of us, but we also wanted to do something a little different today anyway, which was to actually have you, who have both been in this really since the beginning, to be able to share why. Why has this been something that you wanted to actually get involved into and put your energetic resources into? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're really doing. And like, as we've been doing this, Jared and I's intention has been to grow you guys and ourselves in the process. So to offer tools that will help imbue the music by helping the artist embody a higher frequency by understanding the frequencies that are in the music, that are in the environment, and then ultimately what is inside of us too that's actually being expressed. And so when we have more consciousness and awareness, and then we can have common language to identify what's going on, then we can really start uniting in a way that doesn't mean we have to put God in a box or get offended by the fact that God was even mentioned. And the fact that it's two women on screen right now, which in the replay of this is going to show Jared's face in a, and now we've got Eric as well. But when it was a free space, that is where then the one who was watching this can see themselves in the frame. So as you guys speak about what drew you here originally, what has made you stick on, understanding our intention and what this album 22 Mad Hatter's Mystic Music Summit series has been all about leading up to the April 2nd deadline, when 22 songs will be included in a compilation CD playlist that's ultimately intentionally going to become like a grassroots movement. These are two of the people who you'll be hearing from. Eric in the song that I'll be doing with another woman who is offering light language. So that's something unique that's going to be here because he was inspired based on one thing, and I would rather let you guys have the floor so you guys can share your story having heard the beginning.
Eric, go ahead if you want to go first.
Oh, sure. Thank you, Susie. Yes, and Laura, thank you for this opportunity to, have the floor and to share, some of my story to the viewers. I will say, my journey in this began with Jared. Jared and I actually connected last year, during COVID. And, because of those times and just the unique nature of those times, I wanted to connect. I wanted to stay connected with people and meet new people. And so Jared and I, connected online, and it was great. And he told me about this project that he had a passion for. And it was, about music healing and what it can do for others that, are in either need of healing in the moment or just want to find inspiration, things like that. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm inspired, I'm intrigued. And so with that, he invited me to this summit that you are now, of course, a part of as well, Laura. And yeah, I guess I've been inspired, and I guess you could say enrolled in the movement itself because of what it's about. It's about healing others, and it's about, really spreading love, right? I think at the end of it, if I had to paraphrase it in one way, it's spreading love. And so for me, that's big. And, and I actually had a recent experience that, I won't get into on this call. However, it really solidified that message even for me, right? As far as some of my purpose here, as far as, spreading love. So, I think me being a part of this project is just a culmination of that, right? And it's another signal of, yes, Eric, you should be involved in this. And so to kind of expand as well into the song that you talked about, Laura, I saw a video that you and Michael had, posted and created about frequency and how that helps to heal, right? Certain frequencies do certain things for us from a physical standpoint, and even from a mental and possibly even spiritual standpoint. And so, I based off that, I got inspired to it hit me really as far as creating an original composition. I didn't create it. I truly believe it came through me. And so, the music just came, and I put it together in a way that I felt kind of harnessed, the meaning of this project, right? And sent it to you and Jared, and the reception has been phenomenal. I'm grateful for the joy that it brought to you guys and how you guys have enjoyed, that composition. And then of course, Laura, I'm very honored to be collaborating with you and Denise on this. I'm glad that she was moved, by it as well. And so, I'm just excited that if this is one of the 22 songs, chosen for this project, and my only mission, or not even mission, I would say my only thing I'd want is for the song to be an inspiration as this summit and project is, supposed to do. So hopefully one of my songs can do that for somebody in the future.
Amazing. And speaking to Tony and what that means for you as well, just for anyone that may not be familiar with you and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So Tony is just my pseudo, and I am more of a music producer than an artist. So I guess my role in this project is a little unique in the sense that I definitely, I would say I look up to Susie and Luna. Hi, Luna, you're joining as well, as artists, because being in that artist space, I mean, I'm not saying I could do that. It's just, I will say that my creative space is more, kind of like creating a foundation for Susie and Luna, right? If we were to collaborate. And so Tony is my, it's my pseudo, and it's a spin on my middle name. So my middle name is actually Anthony. And so I combined, the word tone and then sort of a play on my middle name and came up with Tony. So yeah, that's a little background into that name there. So thank you, Laura, for that.
My absolute pleasure. And thank you for how you show up in this world and for your willingness to be inspired by what shows up in your environment and for your willingness to put in the energy to actually get value from it, because that does take work, even though we might not acknowledge it. And especially for people like us who would get onto a summit like this, who would be willing to put together a song within a few months and come up with the whole idea the way that we have been, organically, without expectations as to how it goes and, who says what and how it, how it's supposed to be, and all of the ways that we can really set ourselves up for failure by putting ourselves into the box and just say, hey, you know what? We do the best we can in life. And we're better together because we have people that can keep us honest. And that's really what we need with this, and why I love the E that you have on Tony, because I always put an extra E in humanity, which is when we're not doing these summits, the alternative Tuesday at 3:30 Eastern, we do the mental health and harmonizing humanity with an extra E with music summits. Because right now we really need to understand that music is the way that we can speak outside of boxes. And if we understand that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only displaced, we just can move the energy that's been in certain boxes into then being how those walls drop and become the bridge that actually allow us to connect and meet each other where previously there was an inability to move. So I would love for Susie to go next in terms of introducing yourself and what drew you to the project, what's kept you engaged. Thank you very much, Eric. That was absolutely brilliant, and so glad to have you part of this project. And then we'll come to you next, Luna. And then this is really a summit where we're having people introduce why you're wanting to be part of this, what it means to you, what it has meant for you. And so really just sharing your experience, because you're showing up for 7 summits now. Like, this is the 7th one, and we 5 have been at every one. So that's huge. Like, celebrating us. Way to go. Yeah, right? And how much have we grown in that time frame? And then even, I want to just say personally, today I have really been feeling insecurity come up in a big way. And I've talked to other energetically sensitive people feeling similarly. And it's like, as when we're on the cusp of change, like we're 2 weeks from the deadline, I'm working towards a song that I've never done before. I've got all of those things going on, but there's also a protest or a rally for farmers locally that's literally going on. And it's just like, I have to ask, is this mine? And so we have to ask ourselves, is this mine? Yes or no? Can I let this go? Yes or no? Will I let this go? Yes or no? And if not, why not? Because if not, we're attached to the emotion that's not here, which is the only moment we have any power, which is why I am going to pass it over to Susie and understand how powerful this present moment is for you to be able to declare why now this is important.
Sure. Well, first thing I want to start off with is I realized for some reason I was always wearing dark shirts. Like I was wearing a black hoodie or stuff, or gray, whenever we were doing the summer. And today I went and I changed my shirt and I put this on. And also, look what it says. Humankind.
Of course it did.
You got to look at my boobs right there. But yeah, I'm like, no, I want to wear a bright, cheery shirt. Plus, it has this awesome message on it. So before I go on for hours, I just want to say that Jared and I met like Eric, I met him last year online. And that's kind of the weird thing about right now, which is cool, that, you know, people complain about things with online and social media and whatever, but this is a case of where it's a positive and it brings people together for the right reasons. Yeah. So I think I've mentioned before in our other summits that my intention was always, I put it out there that when I started doing this music 4 years ago, I wanted it to have a purpose. So it's not just about making songs, you know, or writing songs. It's about having a positive message and doing something positive with that music. So it's funny that you put that intention out there, and the way the universe works, it just brings you along and connects you to the right people. So when Jared contacted me, initially it was just for a song and he wanted to put it on his website. I said, yeah, sure. Then he started explaining this project. I said, sure. You know, I'm just someone who always believes don't say no. Give things a try, because there's a reason why something has come to you. There's no such thing as coincidence, right? Everything has its purpose, but it's up to you to realize what is your place in this and why has it come to you? Because obviously I put something out there that brought this to me. And with each summit that we're having, it becomes clear to me why I'm here and why we're doing this. I've learned so much, especially, you know, I was not aware of all the vibrational things that are involved. I've gone now even more in depth with that. Yeah, trying to understand, you know, I've had friends who are not well and have disease or something going on. And I've read and watched videos even about how vibrations can help cure that.
Yes.
It's crazy. You know, and these are scientists talking. It's not just, you know, people who are spiritual and hoping for the best. It's actual science behind it, where they looked at the molecules and saw them breaking, because it's like when you put certain sounds, it can break glass. It can do the same things to atoms and molecules and everything else. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent, but I mean, the point is, it's funny how from our summits and these discussions, now I find myself sometimes looking and reading about things that I might not have otherwise taken notice of. Yeah. So yeah, and then just being part of this, you know, I was talking to you before we started the whole record thing. It feels like a family. You know, we gotten used to now every second Tuesday I'm on here, and I look forward to seeing everybody. I truly do. You know, it's not about just saying nice things. It's how I feel. And I think we were meant, all of us, to be together, and here we are, and we're going to do incredible things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really quick, Laura, I just want to show the viewers. So in the spirit of messages on shirts, Susie, I am wearing this one.
I love it.
Oh, yeah. That's amazing. Radiate positive lives.
I love it. I love it.
That is so perfect. Oh my God. You guys are just out of this world, because truly we all are. And this is the thing that is just, we're not looking at this from the right perspective, because we're looking at it from a human perspective when we're in the fear and mire and grit of all of the details and the fact that there is really nasty things that happening right now. And then when we're at that vibration, that's that destructive, bringing the cells apart energy of lower vibes, where entities are, then you're more open to them, because it's literally changing your portals within the energy centers of you. Because like, if you've read the CIA Gateway report or the Gateway process, it actually talks about the right and the left hemispheres, and hemisync is what they call it. And it's really the Kundalini effect, where it's the perfect divine, or the perfect marrying of the divine masculine and feminine to unite us firmly in the moment. So as we're doing all of this too, it's like, is the music keeping us here? Is the music sending us higher, or is the music sending us down? Because the 440 hertz that they switched the regular tone to, or how is that best explained from a musical perspective?
I would say, and Susie, keep me honest, Luna as well, it's what they master these songs in, Laura, right? Yeah, so to your point, the radio plays everything at that frequency. CDs were mastered at that frequency, records, like everything today commercially, Laura, and even streaming wise. Yeah, it's what they call mastered or recorded and mixed in that frequency, and then ultimately played back to, you know, the masses in that frequency.
Even if it's set at a different frequency, like how you reattuned your song to be at 432, which is healing?
That's a good question, Laura. What I had to do is actually, so yes, my original composition is using, I guess you could say, professional software, right? Recording software. And those software tools, some of them do have the ability to change the frequency. The one I have doesn't. And so I had to record it in 440 and then basically shift it down 8 hertz. So then now it plays back at the 432. Yeah.
It strikes me that 8 and the heart are connected, though I'm not quite specifically sure from a tarot perspective or anything like that as to why. But just as you were saying that, it just prompted me that this is all about resonance, because it's all about frequency and it's also about earth. And this is about a global movement, because sound bypasses barriers. There is no barrier when it's sound, it's vibration gets through anything. And so if we understand warfare and we can understand the depressionary effects of something destructive being in our environment, like even how we start to get headaches or we start to get pressure, like the things that are connected with different frequency waves, those can also be connected to ascension as well. And ascension symptoms also, so ascension symptoms show up in the same way as a frequency elevation, because the earth has been changing in frequency as well, which is something else to be aware of. As we go through all of this, we have the support of earth, but we have to send our energies to the earth, and we have to send our energies to the skies, and we have to send our energies to the people so that we can truly unite and create that effect. So I'm sure somebody else has an empowering place to jump off of there. And I feel like this is the perfect place to introduce Luna. Luna Keller is one of the contributing artists for this as well. And she's been part of it since the beginning. So Luna, please speak for yourself.
Hello. Such a lovely conversation. I really loved hearing everyone else talk about it. I actually had a similar story to Susie's when it comes to approaching this project. I also got contacted by Jared first to have a song on his wonderful website, Mad Hatter Music, and then he talked to me about this project, and I kind of got into this. But maybe first I should just quickly introduce myself. I'm Luna Keller. I am currently 19 years old, but not for long because my birthday is like almost less than a week away. But yeah, I'm making music. I've been making music and releasing music since 2017. I do folksy, singer, songwriter, indie pop, sort of. I've been playing in between those genres, and it's always been songwriting for me since I discovered it, something that really comes from the heart. I think Eric actually said something like that, like you channel it, you don't create it. And I very often do feel that way too. I feel like it comes to me, and I do need to craft it. I do need to be part of that creation. But I am getting that from somewhere, and it's a wonderful, magical thing. And very often it's helped me understand myself too. So music always has been something really, really connective and energetic. And this whole place, when I went to the first summit, I really resonated with that, with how music can be healing, how music can help us, and who we are as artists, and how we can use our stories to empower and help other people. I didn't know much about frequencies, to be honest. I still don't know that much about them because I didn't really have time to look into them. But I think it's a very fascinating subject, and I've learned so many things here. So just really happy to be here.
Amazing. And we're so glad to have you. You're incredibly talented. As Eric, Susie, Jared, we're all gifted in our own way. But I want to just point out the fact that in the very first summit, you helped me in a way, because you held a mirror to me as to the fear that I was peddling by making sure that people knew what was happening. And I get caught in that trap, and you indirectly, but roundabout, held the space for peace to be the better possibility, and to make sure that you didn't get sucked down what could have been a spiral. Because when you open that can of worms as to the truth of things and what's really going on, it's dark. And it's very easy to understand then why so many things have been manipulated to be the corrupt way that they are. And so you did that not because you needed to be right, not because you needed to be the one that corrected anybody, because you didn't, but you did it because it was your truth and it was felt. And so I just want to acknowledge you for being willing to be 19, almost 20, but to step into a project where you stretch yourself and you put yourself with people that are not only older, but more experienced and have a lot of memories that you don't, because you haven't lived those years, that give us opportunities to say yes to more things. And so I celebrate you for being who you are at the age that you are, and for also being willing to be yourself. And your videos are so clever and creative and intricate and detailed. And so it's just really wonderful that you're as humble as you are, and you have parents that support you, and you're about to step on to a new path in terms of moving to Germany from where you are. So tell people about your willingness to take a risk that way, because not only are you willing to say yes to an opportunity like this and come together with amazing people every 2 weeks, you're also stepping off and you're doing it despite the circumstances that somebody else would say, oh my God, like you're going to change countries in the middle of a pandemic and the world's going through what it's going through. But we need the lighthouses sometimes to be willing to move. And then we need also to know whether we're the lighthouses that need to stay where we are. But you're like a nearly 20-year-old moving one. So tell us about that.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for all the kind words. I think it does come of age. I do have a lot of second guessing going on, but I've just figured out at a certain point, we're all figuring it out, no matter how old we are. No one holds the supreme truth. I don't. No one does really. And we are just each other's teachers. And once you kind of realize that, that has been sort of the realization that has given me the courage to just be in a place like this and say, I don't know everything. Far from it. I still have a lot to learn on my journey. But we can uplift each other and give those impulses to each other, sometimes without even knowing it. I didn't know that I actually triggered that impulse in you on that first summit, but I'm glad I did. So that's sort of the first thing I wanted to say. Thank you for the kind words. And you all have inspired me a lot too. So, and triggered some thought processes, positive ones too. So thank you very much for that. When it comes to taking risks, I've just had a couple of experiences where I let myself fall into the arms of the universe, put it in a way, and it's always caught me. And it just made me realize that often the only thing standing in between us and our purpose is fear, is doubt. And once we decide, okay, I am afraid, and that is fine, that is not bad, but I feel like I can take this risk, I can take this step, that's when the wonderful things start to happen. So I actually made the decision to move to Germany concretely. I already knew that I wanted to leave when I was playing a house concert tour last year in the middle of the pandemic, which I think I have mentioned here before. But it was also, I had canceled my tour. I had only 4 tour dates left. And I was thinking, I still need to go because I don't want to be here. Like, I knew it was the right thing. And I went and I ended up playing 11 concerts just because of word of mouth and things working out and the universe catching me once again. And that was the moment I realized, okay, this is the place where it's energetically flowing. This is the place where I want to create my music and where I made that decision. Now, I did want to move in November, and some barriers are there right now. Germany's in a very, very harsh lockdown. Like, I read the new regulations today and just thought, okay, this doesn't even make much sense, some of them. And it doesn't make sense for me to go there for sure, because they've decided to close supermarkets even, like, apart from Saturdays for some reason. So for me, being there right now would just mean sitting in a flat alone. So I'm sort of waiting for those regulations to be a bit lighter, so it makes sense to go there, because even though you want to go and that it's a step you have to take, you have to be reasonable with what is possible in the world right now. But I am still looking forward to doing it. I'm hoping May will allow it. And I do feel like, once again, just like before the tour, like, yes, this is the thing I should do. And of course it's scary. but it's also wonderful. So I'm looking forward to that and all these little steps that I get to take, and all these little times, as Susie put it, I get to say yes, because those are the best times.
I love it.
Can I just say something really quickly, because it's relevant to what you're saying, Luna? I had planned to go to LA in February. I bought a ticket, I booked it, everything. I'm supposed to go record new music because my producer lives in Los Angeles. And I said, you know what? Not that I don't care what's going on, but I'm not letting it stop me from what I need to do. I go with my heart. But last minute, I changed, and it was because it felt right. And then we delayed it another month. And then I changed again, and then another month. So now I'm looking for next month. But since then, I've had opportunity after opportunity here. I'm already booked for 2 shows. I just played my last one a few days ago, live show in front of real people. And it was the best night. It was just unbelievable. It was me and my guitarist. And we got up on the stage and we looked at each other, and without saying a word, I knew what he was thinking and he knew what I was thinking, that we were just over the moon to be in front of people and to be doing live music again, and I'm thinking now, as you were speaking, how, again, everything is timing, and it's okay. You can put it out there, you're going to go anyways, but it might not be this very moment, because there might be still something you've got to do where you are, and you don't know. And then I got booked for another festival here in May, which is fine, because I'll still hopefully try and go in April. But again, all these things have been happening because I stuck here, because I just felt like, okay, maybe now is not right. Let me wait this out a little and see where things are going. And slowly things are opening up. So I didn't realize it was that tough in Germany. Wow.
It's people are being a bit, it's not a theme that I like to talk about too much, but it is not really proportionate to the cases. And there's a lot of criticism rising, because some things aren't making much sense. But no matter what motivates those restrictions, at the moment, they are the thing that is holding me back. And that's okay, because what you just said is really true. First of all, so cool that you get to play live. I'm really happy for you. But it's okay, because the time I've spent here has really allowed me to grow, has allowed me to have the time to be in projects like this one, to create the songwriting circle and meet wonderful people there, which has been going on for over a month now, and it's just been absolutely wonderful. I've started to write for blogs. I've made connections online that I wouldn't have made at all if I hadn't been here and had that time. So I do feel like, everything does have its time, and now I will go even better prepared with better connections, and that is okay. I'm in no way bitter, but I am a little bit impatient, because I'm really looking forward to it. That's also good.
That is so beautiful. Deep breathing, just back in the moment. The excitement sometimes takes us out of now, right? And it's like the impatience and that the energy that's out here. And it's just like, if it's making noise out here because the bracelets are distracting, it's just like, where's our power? It's not until we kind of bring ourselves back. And it's just like, are you familiar with the Celestine Prophecy? The book?
I've heard of it, but I don't know.
It basically, the main character remains nameless, and he goes through, and you experience your own journey while you're reading the book, but it actually does talk about conscious conversation, which is something that I've really loved and valued about these summits. Because conscious conversation is the fact that energetically aware people, such as we, are here and we're watching each other attentively, and we care, and we're not trying to override or dominate in any way. We're existing together. We're coexisting harmoniously and peacefully, and we're wanting to do so in a way that connects and bonds and contributes and adds value, compared to wanting to verbally masturbate and just kind of speak for the sake of, feeling good in the moment, but achieving nothing in the end, and making other people feel very uncomfortable and not wanting to be there. Even the conversation of it, the introduction of that, and it's just like, people looking to be offended will be, regardless of whether they have reason to be or not. And it's just like, you can be with those people, or you can be in a space where people like us are consciously saying, hey, like, we want to be part of the change we seek in this world. And these lockdown measures in Germany, I just went to here in Norfolk County, where we're the breadbasket. And where are you, Susie? I heard you're in Canada.
Yeah, I'm in Toronto.
You're in Toronto? I'm like an hour and a half away from Chantal. Well, you don't know Chantal, but I'm literally less than 2 hours away.
Where are you? In Norfolk?
In Norfolk County. And so basically right now the farmers, they can fly into Pearson Airport, and they're no longer, Norfolk County is the only place that has introduced restrictions where only 3 workers are allowed to be transported from the airport to the quarantine centers, which the farmers have to put up themselves. And then they also have to have a quarantine station, and they have to have the bunkhouse. Now only 3 men can be together. Now they can fly across the ocean together, but they can't be on the same plane. And so these restrictions, and like they've literally, one of the farmers was saying how much time has been put up, because basically what's happening right now is we're experiencing the Sustainability Act play out. And I know that I'm doing the thing that I did the first time, but I'm doing it from a different place now, because we have a solution that we've created together, not because it was the easy way, but because we simply stayed with it. So we're going to stick with these conferences and these summits and continue to do them every 2 weeks, if you guys are open to doing that, to continue to gather and motivate and inspire. And ultimately, that will also be how we actually promote the movement. And we promote the album 22, and we kind of keep on it together, and we can be our own promotion committee essentially. And then others can find what we're doing, and we don't have to necessarily broadcast what comes after now, because people that want to be on those summits have an opportunity to meet the people that are already got their names in the hat. And Luna, you actually have a song about the Mad Hatter's Tea Party that's really creative and clever. So can you maybe just speak into that? Because Jared has Mad Hatter's music with his brother Will as well. So the theme of it is relevant for where we are in the madness of what's happening, that is preventing us from being as free as creative people understand we truly are. And so bringing in the element of the madness and the storyline, I think can be very symbolically relevant for the ones who listen back to the replay.
So I'm not sure if you mean Alice is in Love with the Mad Hatter or We Are All Mad Here.
Okay.
But they are both on the Alice is in Love with the Mad Hatter EP, and the idea was to take some of the wisdoms in the Alice in Wonderland books and apply them to real life. And Alice is in Love with the Mad Hatter is a song about trusting yourself. It's a metaphor for your inner child, listening to your inner child, living that freely, and not like once you do that, you're basically invincible. It's sort of the anthem. But We Are All Mad Here, which I do think is the one inspired by the Tea Party, and which applies a lot right now, is a song that's really inspired by that scene. You see the Mad Hatter and all these crazy characters sitting at one table. They don't have much in common, but they celebrate their differences instead of discriminating each other or creating division. And I thought that was so beautiful. And the song is basically about, we are all mad here. We all have our own beautiful madness, and that is okay. Those differences can bring us together instead of apart. And I do feel like you're right. It's more relevant than ever right now, because there is a lot of division happening between people all over the world. And it doesn't have to be. Even if we have completely opposite opinions, we can still speak about them. We can still share that madness. We can grow together and inform each other in a loving way, and from a place of love. And I just really hope that my song keeps sending that message into the world.
We certainly need it, because if the external is a reflection of the internal, and looking at the state of my own relationships, I have to say division is absolutely happening right now. But it also has to happen, because like there's a divergence of timelines that's playing out right now, where people are choosing, and they're choosing where they're committed, and they're choosing where their soul is going to go after here, essentially, which sounds really crazy, but that's only my belief system, which is BS, like literally the acronym belief system. And if you want to look at it from that perspective, and we stop taking ourselves so seriously, it's easy to say these things, but it's harder when you're dealing with personalities and characters that are equally strong, but coming at it from a completely different perspective that say, no, you need to be masking and you need to be adhering protocols and procedures that are making it so that the farmers are going to go bankrupt. And when the farmers go bankrupt, the land's going to get bought up by corporations if the people don't smarten up. Because like Canada's marked as a red zone, like, which means extermination by the Agenda 21, if you're familiar with that one, and South Africa too. Like, we need to be aware of these things, but at the same time, how do we be aware without becoming too caught up in it? I've really struggled with that, and I'm grateful that music is a way to be able to get out of the words, because I'm a wordsmith and I can paint words, but like some of these words that I have access to in terms of the storylines of what's really playing out, and like the fact that we need to become away. It's interesting, actually. I love, Jared, that you just came in right now, because I want to actually have you share with people who listen back to this, who, you know, want to hear about why we chose to do this. As a pigeon literally just walked in front of the window, right in front of where I'm sitting on the fence. You're muted, so I can't hear what you're saying. You're still muted.
Hit the button. Okay. So pigeons carry messages, so that's actually perfect timing. And the thing is we as the artists, as the creators, and as the ones who kind of sense that you know, regardless of what our political ideation is, that things are wrong in the world, and that people are getting away from authenticity in their heart. And by bringing out the different tones and frequencies, like we've already talked about a little bit, but by also just reaching in and helping people connect with their own truth, helping people connect to their own authenticity, that as artists, we have the opportunity to inspire and uplift and to help people to connect with themselves. I think, you know, in this world of everybody wanting to be so connected to their devices and connected to everything outside of themselves, the biggest challenge we have is connecting within ourselves, to being able to look within and to find, you know, the instruction manual is hidden in our hearts. We know what we're supposed to do, and it's our conscience that guides us. And being able to turn that back on and to tune back into that frequency, we get pulled away from that as we grow. You know, when we're infants and when we're young, we have that frequency in our heart, and that's the stamp of who we are. And depending upon our environment and the people that we're around, we can lose touch with that, lose touch with who we are and who we were meant to be. But we come programmed with that knowledge and that information and that light and that understanding. And then the belief systems that the world brings into us kind of closes off bits and pieces of that. And then we struggle. I've struggled for a long time to figure out what my purpose in life has been. I've gone through, I have 4 amazing children. I have, I believed I was building a life for myself, and I really didn't know what my purpose was, but I took care of those kids as best I could. And then my life got shaken and turned around, and the opportunity came for me to, you know, as that process was getting started, and before I realized what was going on, the opportunity came for me to kind of get in touch with my purpose, with who I am. And so as we've chosen the hero's journey, as we've chosen this message to bring to the world, to get in touch with your inner purpose, to shine your light for who you are and who you are meant to be. And that is going to help inspire people to just cut through the crap of the world, cut through the garbage of the lies and the deceptions and the propaganda that's out there, because truth will start ringing. And when truth rings, there's a harmony to it. And there's a harmony to it that speaks to our souls. And that is what we're getting in touch with. And that's what we're helping people to tune into. And that's why when we initially started this, I thought, okay, well, maybe we could do this as a for-profit compilation to support the artists that are supporting these ideas and goals. And then it just hit my heart. No, this is supposed to be freely given to the world. And it'll build the artists up, because they're going to be freely presented to all kinds of different people from our efforts and from reaching out and including, you know, just a tagline, please share this. because I want this to be able to grow and go. And when we're out, when we get it out the gate, I I don't want this to end. I want this process to continue, and I want to keep inspiring and keep building. And this is my life's work and my purpose. And I've waited a long time to find out what that is. I didn't have confidence to be able to play as well as I can play. I picked up a bass guitar in December of 2018 for the first time, really as an instrument. And it felt like a natural extension of myself. And I've never had anything called to me like that. And then to realize that I have this amazing purpose, and I know that I'm supposed to bring joy and light to the world. I know there are other artists out there that are doing the same thing. And it was actually a mutual friend of ours that introduced me to Luna. They said, hey, she's got this song I think you really like to hear. His name's Pasha Black. And Pasha, I heard one of Pasha's songs, and so I reached out to him to be on the website. He said, I want you to hear my friend Luna, and I want you to reach out to her too. And that moment of inspiration, right at the same time as I was coming up with the name Mad Hatter Music, Luna had, Alice is in Love with the Mad Hatter come out the gate. And my wife had just left me and taken my children from me, and I didn't get to see them for a few months. But I had that music to build me up. And it was like, I knew it wasn't anything like a personal thing, but to me, it felt like a personal revelation that there is love in what I have to offer the world. And so that is where my heart is, and that is what my intention is, and that is what we're doing here. And it was your inspiration, Laura, that got us to this point of being able to have a target. Being able to all share on the website is great, but it's kind of chaotic, and there's not really any kind of set parameters to it. I mean, and having the central theme to kind of unite the different sounds. And where we're all at in our journey is different levels of the high rise, but different levels of understanding. And to be able to just bring those all together into this one package and say, you know what, wherever you're at on your journey, there's different floors, and you can go up. And so this connection to this work has been, the entirety of my focus. I just got out of court today. It was long and ugly. And they're like, why don't you have a full-time job? Why don't you have a full-time job? I work a couple part-time jobs, but I dedicate most of my time all day long to connecting to people and to trying to find more music to put on the compilation and to put on the website. And I dedicate, 90 hours a week to that. That's just my focus and my energy. And it's like, I can't get that done enough. And I feel like, this mission, this purpose, and this call has been what has saved me in this whole process, because it's given me a focus to direct my energy in a way that will help to benefit and build others. And so, like I said when I started the whole thing, I've got this little light to shine, and I can hold my little candle up and shine my light. But if I can call together other candle holders to shine their lights, and we can all stand together, we're going to present a blazing fire that no one's expecting. And it's going to shine, and it's going to be bright, and it's going to engulf the whole world. And so that is our mission, and that is what we're going to do.
Woo! Yeah. Luna, do you want to put that CD cover up there again? Because I'm pretty sure that it said Remedy, which is...
This is actually Pasha Black's CD. So I just wanted to hold it up because Garrett mentioned this wonderful, lovely person. And this is actually a really, really beautiful CD, also with a lot of healing and beautiful messages. So.
Amazing. Well, hopefully he'll be able, or she, he'll be able to come to a meeting so we can meet him, and he can be part of maybe not this one, considering the deadline's in 2 weeks, though you can make a song quite quickly if you have a heart to be part of it. Jared,
it's like my case that you just find a song you've already made that fits really well.
Yes,
exactly.
Absolutely. And Susie, you had that as well with the Secret Garden as the submission that you made as well, which I wanted to get you to actually share the background of as well, because of how it relates to mental health. and the summit that we have at 3:30 Eastern on the alternative Tuesdays to when we have these meetings.
Okay, well, if I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version of the inspiration behind the song, it was quite interesting because it was just around the time that I was starting to think that I want to pursue my passion for music. And it was 2016. And it's just crazy because I look back at that year. I don't know how I ended up in these incredible opportunities behind the scenes with some major artists and major bands. It's like the universe picked me up and went, okay, you want to be in music? Here, go hang out with these guys. Go hang out with... I got to see so
worthy.
What's that?
The universe deemed you worthy.
Clearly, because some of the stuff, it's mind-blowing. And this particular situation, what happened was there was a band here in Canada called the Tragically Hip. I don't know if you've heard of them. I mean, they are like royalty here in Canada. And unfortunately, their lead singer was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer, brain cancer. And he didn't have much time. And what he decided to do in that little bit of time they had left was to do a tour across Canada to basically say thank you and goodbye to all the fans, because the band, once he was gone, they were probably not going to go on. Well, I end up meeting the band during that final tour, befriending one of the members of the band. We actually became friends. We're still friends to this day. But we had when they were in Toronto, we went out and we sat and we chatted for over 6 hours. And to hear someone's perspective who's dealing with that, you know, people are looking at it like they're fans of the band and the music and their career and, oh my God, and they're so lucky and this, you know, they look up to them. But to hear it from the person who's in it and living it and what they're going through, the realities of it, it was eye-opening. And I couldn't believe that I was like the chosen person to be sitting with him at that given time, and to have him tell me everything he was feeling. And, you know, I've never shared, obviously, those personal details, but for me, it made me look at life differently and understand, you know, how felt like his only identity was this band. Because since he was a teenager, it's all he knew, it's all he was a part of. And for 40 years, he's a part of this band. He no longer kind of knew who he was as a single entity. Mm-hmm. And he felt like a part of him was being amputated because, and that's exactly the words he used, because this band was coming to an end as far as they could see. And so all of that was just like, wow. And so I took that and I ended up writing The Secret Garden. But then I realized it was also a lot about, not that inspired it, but it made me realize, even for myself, I had made several changes in my own life and finding who I was again, not being a wife, not being a mother, not being a daughter, who is Susie? Yeah, at the very core of me. And I think every human being has to go through that, where they need to rediscover themselves. You know, as a child, you know exactly who you are. You look at kids, they're so confident, they know exactly who they are. But along the way in life, you lose parts of yourself. And, you know, it's not necessarily a negative thing, because I'm very proud of everything that I've lived and every experience that I've had. But sometimes that comes at the cost of forgetting who you are and what you're, you know, like Jared, you were saying, knowing what is your purpose on this earth. Well, you can only know that when you're fully connected to yourself and knowing who you are. And I found that now, just, you know, through that when I returned to music, but that all came through these experiences that I had once I had the light bulb go off that I need to follow this passion because it's never left me. And after all these years, you know, that I didn't pursue it, it never left. I still felt that strong need to do this. And since then, again, the universe just gave me these opportunities that inspired songs, that inspired, you know, made me understand the world better, made me understand myself better. And so The Secret Garden is just that. It's your soul, and go inside it and take care of it and tend to it. And the things that will happen, how you grow is unbelievable. You know, in just the past few years, when Jared, again, you were talking about people are on different levels, and not to say I'm on some, you know, higher, but I'm definitely way in a different place than I was just a few years ago, you know, and how I look at life. And I know I'm going on a little bit here, but Laura, I just want to touch on something because you mentioned it. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine, a very, very close friend of mine, has been very much involved in looking at all the conspiracies and things that are going on with the world and seeing the darker side of things and the truths that we are not aware of as regular people going through life. she shared a lot of those things with me. And I felt like she was getting upset at me for not getting upset and not being, she's like, you've got to write about this. You've got to sing about this. And I had to hold back because I couldn't fight her. I didn't want to fight her. I understood that she was angry because she was understanding what's going on in the world and just angry that we're not doing anything about it. But I think me not fighting her on it, now I see she's slowly changing. And it's so weird because I didn't do anything. I had my own ideas about it and I've done my own thinking about it. Because we had a conversation a few weeks ago when she said she walked by a schoolyard and saw children outside playing all with masks on. And it made her so angry. She said, I've never been so angry. And I said, but you have to learn to let go. You have to be objective about these things. It doesn't mean we don't care. We can care about it. But the minute we have anger and we're working from a place of anger, you're not going to benefit anybody. Instead, we have to be aware of it, know what's going on. You don't have to be ignorant, but you have to stay objective so that you can stay focused on the other side of it and push things in that direction. You know, so it's been such an interesting thing for me too, to learn about this. And like you're saying, it's easy to say all these philosophies that sound nice, but when you're dealing with real people in your life and how they're viewing things, and I'm telling you, she was the complete extreme, and she's probably right on a lot of things. And I said, I get that. I know there's a lot of evil things going on and stuff that's not. But I said, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, because if I do, then I'm not focusing on what I need to be doing.
Exactly.
To balance it out and to move things in the opposite direction.
Exactly. That's what they require.
Well, Laura, if I may, Susie, your last thing you just said, I think I love what you're saying, Susie, because I think if you relate to what I'm about to say, it doesn't speak true to you, right? It's not true to your message and your heart. And so it's not that you don't care. I'm hearing this from you, right? It's not that you don't care. It's just, it's not speaking true to you. And so you're not willing to, like you said, step outside of your, I would say, how about this, outside of your authenticity, right? And so, yeah, because of that, you know, it's okay that you're not wanting to speak those messages that maybe your friend is passionate about. And yet you can still, you know, you, Susie, can still, and others as well, myself, Luna, and Jared, we can still speak a similar message and get a similar maybe movement going, right? Or something, you know, more of a different awareness, right? So I love what you said, because yeah, it's staying true to your authentic self. And if you don't feel the energy or the movement to it, then you're not staying true to you. So just, I wanted to say thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. And Eric, you know, again, what you're saying makes total sense, because the way I look at it, we've all got an internal light, right, that we're shining on the world. And you can choose to either shine it on evil and bring that to light, or you can shine it on the good and bring that to light and help it expand. So it's your choice. And again, it's not saying the other things don't exist. You can acknowledge it, know that it's there, but I'm not wasting my time or my energy or my light to put over there. I'll keep it over here, because I want to keep people's attention over here on the good stuff, so that everybody moves in that direction. Yeah.
Exactly. Where you put your focus is what grows. And if you have so many people focusing on, you know, either the fear or the negativity or the conspiracy or whatever else, they're missing it. They're missing that opportunity to shine their light on hope. They're missing the opportunity to shine their light on love. They're missing that opportunity to shine their light on compassion. So that instead they're where they focus, where we focus, where I focus grows. And so when I decide that I direct my focus with intention on expressing love, then other people can say, wow, focused intention on expressing love. And then it creates that ripple, and that's the ripple. That's the ripple of our message that we're carrying. And it's with all of our different sounds coming together to carry that same hope. There's power and there's force, and that little ripple is going to become a wave.
And even I just had somebody 2 days ago say that hope is when doubt and faith are in a relationship together. So hope is great, but if we can actually move to the next higher level beyond hopefulness, that then is when we have even more power, because even more of the shadow has been brought out. See how the light changes in that moment? So there's all of, I have had so many ideas that I just wanted to sprinkle in as well. And you guys are so, I love being part of a group where I don't have to be the one that is sharing the nuggets, because you guys each bring so much. And I am so grateful to be in a space where I can know enough of your stories from having been on these other summits to be able to bring up the things that allow you to share stories that I'm familiar with, but others may not be. And it's like in that moment, my light fell over, because the thing is that if all of us lighthouses are on our own and we don't know each other's journeys, we don't know each other's stories, then we don't understand about vibration the way that we've been learning together, because now we have a vested interest and we have accountability from people that are committed to making the world a better place, and understand the difference between illumination and illumination, and to become very mindful about falsehood and where it subtly inserts and implants itself into our experiences. Because of, if 90% of something is good, but 10% of it's BS that is meant to serve something other than the whole, then how do we discern the truth other than to understand our own heart's resonance? And if we can actually get ourselves back to the place where we are putting out, not just keep people distracted and looking over at, you know, the good stuff, which it sounds like it's lovely, but if it's only just the good stuff that we're said to be good, but it's not actually good, that's the illumination aspect. And when we're able to say, no, our good is deep, our good is values based, our good is virtues based, our good is about being authentic and being able to call ourselves fully present back to the now here moment that is nowhere other than where we are, which is where every story starts and where everyone that shows up to the music that will come from the compilation we're creating together. That's what all of this is about, for us to really understand that frequency that we're putting out, the wave that we're riding, the fact that we can go down those dark places, or we can focus ourselves on the good or the apparently good. And we have to know, it's our responsibility to know the difference for our own selves, because we're the only ones that have to live with the consequences of our choices. And when we understand that, when we understand that our choice to be involved in something that has a good intention, purely, genuinely, without profit getting in the way of the people that are involved, this is an incredibly unique experience. Jules is here as well. And we have Annette, Gianna, Malcolm, and Owen. Hello, welcome. It's great to have a new face here as well. And Jules, a familiar one too, welcome. Great to have you here. I am not sure whether I'm not sure whether you'd like to introduce yourself to the group, and certainly we'll be calling on Jules right after that, but certainly I would love for you to be able to share if you choose to. You are muted, so we can't actually hear you, and I don't know how to change that. So maybe what we'll do is we'll jump over to Jules, because what we were doing today, and thank you for showing up and being one of the ones who has been here for most of it since the beginning, Jules. So awesome to have you here. And what we were doing, Annette, so that you can participate if you choose to, if you've been following along, to really, what we're asking is for everybody to share their journey as to, you know, what brought you here and why are you choosing to give your energy to this experience of coming together these 2 weeks and participating in the compilation album, participating in the creation of community like we've done over these last few months. Jules, would you like to give an intro to yourself and your journey?
Okay, hello everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You're perfect.
Oh, nice. I'm Jules Mugisha. Of course, I'm from Congo, originally from Congo, and now living in Italy. And I released a song at the beginning of this year called "I'm a Human Naughty Color," and by chance, Jared came to see it, and he was like, "Oh, I like your song, and would you really? We have this project, and it is about, of course, about warriors, of course, inner warriors." And they explained to me how it's about helping people around who have been struggling, of course, and I was happy because I needed this. These are like the hard times. In hard moment, we need people who are strong enough to share their experiences, their stories, their talent, and of course their gifts. And that's where I came to meet amazing people. Of course, I met you, Laura. I met Susie. Hey, Susie. I met, of course, Luna, Eric. I met. I've never met Annette. I'm sorry, I don't know her. And many other more. And there is Janine, of course, who released an amazing song. Like Janine's song was over the top. I was like, wow.
The Quiet Warrior, right?
A Silent Warrior, I think. Silent, quiet.
Is it the Quiet Warrior? I think.
Quiet Warrior. Oh my God, that was amazing too. And of course, the prophecy of Luna, you know it already, and and many other more. Of course, the production of Eric was amazing with all those instruments he used. It was just amazing. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for having us around, and we're really happy being here with you.
Amazing, Jules. Thank you. And what was the biggest thing that you can say that you've taken away from being part of this conscious collaborative effort between incredible individuals like what we've seen? And as I step out of the view to direct the blinds a little bit so that it's not quite so blazing.
Of course, I discussed last time you shared a book with other than experiences, of course, of amazing moment. People have been building each other up. People have been, of course, contributing to their emotional strength, of course, inner pieces. And we've been, of course, sharing different journey as it's the journey, of course. And we overcame many stuffs like doubts. We challenged our doubts most of all. We have learned to never say don't with Luna. Of course, she said that. And we have learned to trust our journey. We have learned to give ourselves a time to get out of the cocoon from Laura. And of course, to not push the process, to trust the process, and to believe in the progress as we go through the journey. And you shared a book with Susie from Eckhart Tolle, and I was like, I want more. I went and got the other book from The New Earth to The Power of Now, and I read both because I could have never have an idea of who Eckhart Tolle was. And lucky for me, you guys shared it. And after reading the two books, I'm so powerful. I can move mountains now. Thank you so much.
That's absolutely brilliant. And we truly are the virus. We together sharing information. It's contagious. The contagion effect, love is contagious. And fear can't coexist with it. So if we can just fill ourselves with more faith and love and trust and be willing to join new experiences. So, and that if you did want to share something, I'm not sure whether your mic's working now or not. It doesn't give me an option. It says that you're still muted. It should be in your bottom left hand.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, okay. Just one second. I'm just going to close this door because my kids are just going to bed.
Okay, welcome. This is exciting. I hear that you are overseas.
Yeah, well, I'm coming from Ireland.
Yes.
And it's 8:30 at night here. So I've watched a few of the previous Zoom calls, by the way, that you've had on
Wonderful.
YouTube, so a little bit up to speed. Very interesting. I want to get some. I'm going to make some notes tonight on these books that Jules was talking about and stuff. I guess where I'm coming from, I've been involved with music all my life, really, and I recently wrote a song called Fly Far Away, and I connected with Jared on LinkedIn. I've never been on LinkedIn before up until the release of this song, because previously I would have done a bit of DJing and kind of writing songs over the years, and then kind of life took over and got married, had children, and it was always there simmering in the background, the music. So there was, I'm not too sure if you heard about, probably not, but there's been a bit of controversy over in Ireland recently about, there's this report that was done by the government into mother and baby homes. I don't know if you've heard anything about it from where you are, but so just to give you a brief little breakdown of, there's a lot I can go into, but I'm not going to because it'll take up too much time. Because Ireland was such like a Catholic country in the past, it still is, but it's not as like controlled by the government and the church. If you if you're a young woman and you found yourself pregnant and you weren't married, you were sent to one of these homes. You were kind of taken away from your home, and because you were considered not suitable to be in the community because you were unwed and you weren't clean and all this craziness. So as a result, there was lots of these homes all over the country, and I suppose a lot of children died in these homes as well, and they weren't always buried in the correct way, and they weren't looked after. And a local historian discovered that there were 796 babies buried in a pit, a disused, like, it's a horrific story. It's, you know, it's, anyway, I could go on and on about the story. There's lots of stuff on YouTube and Google and stuff about it. So I wrote a song basically to the mothers and to the children saying, you know, whatever happened to you in these homes, like, lots of the times their babies were taken away and put up for adoption without the parents' consent, without the mother's consent. And the song is basically saying whatever was done to you and whatever harm was you were put through, an abuse in these homes, nothing can take the love of your baby away from your heart. So it's a bit of a tribute to the mother saying, you know, there's a line in it saying, nothing can change the love of a mother, nothing can take it away from your heart. And then the chorus is like, fly far away, away from the dark, away from all harm. And that's kind of to the babies and the children. So yeah, it was released in February, and I connected with Jared, and it was funny how these things just came together, like, because then Jared was saying how he's doing this CD and this compilation for healing, and of all the people who could have come through, Jared came through, and I was like, oh my God, look at this website, it's just perfect. The Mad Hatters website, it was, you know, just all seemed to fit. And so here I am.
Welcome.
That's me.
Thank you.
We're so glad to have you. And ironically, but as you know, I believe that there are no such thing as coincidences. Mm-hmm. And yesterday, a friend sent me something I read right before this, which was about the dark mother archetype, and when the mother is in the shadow. And we've been talking about the soul and about the shadow aspect, and that's really about finding that balance between the scared and the sacred side of our own archetypes, which I've shared before, but it's it's really fundamental in that we have 4 survival archetypes that are either in their scared, fearful side or in their sacred, faithful side. And it's the child, victim, saboteur, and prostitute. And when we're in the scared aspects of those, we give away our power freely because we don't understand who we are. And so we don't understand our sovereign rights. And right now, unfortunately, what has been happening culturally, which is the cult you rally behind or with, culturally, we have been indoctrinated to believe that doctors have the power or the authority, that the priest or the middleman had to be the way that we had the relationship with the divine. And all of these things are coming to the surface right now, and they're very uncomfortable and they're very dark. But I'm very grateful that we're in a different space to the first one, when I was so down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, which isn't conspiracy theories. That was just a term the CIA created back when JFK was assassinated to make sure that people don't investigate. And then anybody that did was just, it's easy to put someone down if it's just a term, which is what the 10 stages of genocide is about, where they actually say about it's dehumanizing people, because if they can dehumanize somebody, then it's just, oh, it's the anti-vaxxers, it's the, anti-maskers, it's the, anti-this or anti-that. It's just that. It's easier to take it away from being, well, that's Eric, or that's Jules, or, that's Annette. It's easier to say that's just them compared to that's someone I know. And what we're doing here is really giving a face, and we're giving the world a chance to actually be part of healing that mother archetype and that dark energy that would actually, and part of the reason that, because that story was actually referenced, is why I bring in the dark mother.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, literally. I'll be able to post that. I think it's on Instagram though, so I don't know that I can do it in our Peaceful Inner Warrior MHM group on Facebook, which if you're not part of already, talk to Jared about that. He'll be able to make sure that you're in there.
I'm just going to grab a pen. Gonna grab a pen.
So basically, it literally was talking about that, and how the nuns were actually so horrible to the babies and the mothers, because it's the mother in the shadow. And when there's dysfunction introduced, then we no longer act aligned with who we truly are, and instead then work with the pattern. And what is an archetype but a familiar pattern that gets filled in with our energy? And if it's dysfunctional energy that's getting filled in there, I wanted to mention earlier, and so I'm glad I didn't until now, but what I've come to the realization in the last weekish is about the 4D system. Like our 3D we're used to, the 5G we hear about a lot, but the 4D is our mental thought patterns. And that's a grid system, which is how the entities of thoughts actually accrue energy together, because when 2 or more gather in my name, great things happen. Right? We've all heard that, the power of the Mastermind theory, how there's so much that comes from the merging of heart fields, which is even the 6-foot social distancing, making us afraid of social instead of the physical that it's supposed to be. But it's actually connected to facial recognition software, but it's also connected to heart fields overlapping. So when you're at a live event, you've got heart fields overlapping, which then magnifies and amplifies power. And so when we understand what we're really doing here with all of this, and what we're clearing with the 4D paradigm patterns, these are like grid systems. And when we think about the thoughts then as becoming entities only when enough energy has come around them, then we start to understand that energies that are fed, like what is being fed right now with the fear and propaganda, it's getting huge, except for like what Susie's saying, okay, instead of that, we're going here. So instead of putting another page to represent a thought into the filing cabinet of our subconscious belief systems, instead of putting more energy into that file, what we're doing right now is intentionally redirecting that energy, and we're taking it away from where it used to have the power, and then we're redirecting it. So before you were able to jump on here, Annette Joy, we were actually talking, we talked about a lot of things. But I'm sure that somebody else has something. I feel there's somebody else that has something that you wanted to speak into at this point.
Sorry, can I jump in? I'm not sure if anybody else. Laura, you made me think of something else. When I spoke to you and I said that a few days ago I did the live event, I was able to perform live music again. and I told you that we felt something there, not just me and my guitarist, you know, as musicians, but we felt the love from people who were sitting there. And during the performance, there's times when my guitarist, I let him it gives me a break, but I let him do a song. So I got off the stage because I said to him, when you're singing, I want all the focus on you. I'll get off the stage, but I'll do it in a fun way. So I said to everybody on the mic, I said, listen, I'm going to play musical chairs. And when Jeff sings a song, I'm going to come pick a table and I'm just going to sit with you if you're okay with that. And people were like, yeah. And that's exactly what I did. Is I would go and it's my way of showing people, let's get comfortable with each other. You know, it's like a subliminal thing, because I came up with that on the spot. But, you know, it felt like that's exactly what I have to do. That's what I mean about keeping the focus. When you stay focused on how you're going to make things better and get people to think differently, you do it in such a non-evasive way. It feels just good. People were happy. Not one person said, oh no, don't come and sit with us, or, you know, not at our table, or not. There was none of that, you know. And even on social media, I know even the owner of the brewery where I went and played, he was a bit hesitant because it's in Belleville. It's about 2 hours away from where I am. And he said, I don't know if that'll reflect well, having someone from Toronto, because people know you're from Toronto, to come play in Belleville 2 hours away. We're not supposed to. But then he changed his mind and he said to me, you know what, you want to come play this week? I said, sure. So I went. I haven't seen one, you know, knock on wood, I've never had any bad publicity or anybody make a comment, where's your mask, or where's that, or why are you in Belleville, or, you know. And that's why your own aura and what you create will determine how people view what you're doing. And again, that's just something I'm learning. And then I see the power of it, of what we can do by being a part of an event like that, a live event where we were face to face with people and making them connect with each other. That I said to them, are you okay if I come sit with you? Yeah, sure. Okay. I got to know people there, talk to them. We were laughing, joking. Everything became normalized and people didn't feel like, oh, you know, I felt none of that. And so, you know, it's a small step, but it's how we can all start to normalize things and do the work of correcting what needs to be corrected.
At the protest today, we had here in Norfolk County with the not tobacco farmers, the farmers locally, 250 tractors went to the Norfolk County Fairgrounds, where the fair used to always happen, but like this year it didn't. And it's like, this community is going to be devastated unless we band together and we find a way. And I bring it up because I also went to a freedom rally that when I showed up, it wasn't a freedom rally, it was a protest. And so it's about being very clear on the distinction between the two, because Mother Teresa said, I will never come to an anti-war rally, but host a rally for peace and I will be there. And so this is our rally for peace. Literally, culturally, we are choosing to put an E in the human kindness that is on Susie's shirt. So if you want to show your boobs off again. No, I'm just kidding. But we got human kindness, truly. And like, that's what this is. So this is our opportunity for us to truly understand what it means to be human, what it means to direct our energy in a way that uplifts and leaves others better for our having been here, for being willing to be ourselves authentically, unmasked, which symbolically has nothing to do with that breathing unit in front of people's independence. And, you know, what gives so much, they call it the universal smile, or the universal language is the smile, and then they've taken that away. But 2,300 years ago, there was an Eastern culture that found it was easier to break a woman's spirit when you muzzled her. And it's just like, when we mask somebody's identity, they forget who they are. And then if I saw today that what we tolerate, our next generation will embrace, is a quote. I don't remember who said it, but what I do know is that we can't tolerate it anymore, and we have to be willing to break these. And at the rally today, it was just say no. And the thing about that, with both this one and then when I went to the Freedom Rally on Saturday in Brantford, these opportunities, people are not singing the same song. But what if they had our music? What if our music could be what played up at protests? And we actually shifted it from saying, you know what, we're not going to protest anymore against what we don't want. We're actually going to show up there and we're going to sing chants and we're going to sing mantras and we're going to uplift and we're going to bless this space. And we're going to not leave venom and fear and anger and pain and trauma and all the ways that they have systematically infused trauma and drama into our own cells. The Indian Residential Schools Act, for instance, here in Canada, that was a great way to poison and traumatize people who knew their natural nature. And so that's what's happening right now, from my perspective, with all of this. Strong people are being targeted. And we can either focus on that, or we can say, okay, so what does that teach me I do want? And then we use the contrast constructively to find what we do want, and then we focus there. So instead of looking at things and it's just like, oh, I just want to only look at love and light. Well, love and light is another way to say F you sometimes too, when you don't agree with somebody. And it's just like, oh, yeah, love and light, you know, when you tell somebody off in a really peaceful way, it's not authentic. And so if we actually get back to, in this moment, what it truly means to be a peaceful inner warrior, to be willing to embody what it takes to stand amidst the fear and chaos and not let it penetrate ourselves, to not let the fear of somebody else actually make it in, and we say, is this mine? And we genuinely listen to ourselves. And then we say, can I let this go? Will I let this go? If not, why not? Why am I attached to keeping myself out of the present moment? That's how I believe culturally we bring our power back to this moment. That's what I believe this could be. That's what I envisioned when I was at a protest with two sides of a street with different music playing and people standing around talking, holding signs about, you know, end the lockdowns and all of that stuff. So I just bring that in because that's literally Saturday's experience and then Tuesday's experience for me. And culturally, you know, Luna's got the experience she shared from Germany. You know, we've all got the experiences of what's going on here. But what we also have is the possibility to create what we want to see here, which is what this music project is about. So we're already to the hour-and-a-half mark that we like to keep the summits to honor everyone's time and be respectful. I do want to acknowledge that Miranda has joined, and so we're glad to have you. And so welcome, and it's absolutely awesome if you wanted to say anything as to why you've joined or what you've got, if you've watched any of the summits that we've had, the information that was shared in there, the stories of heroes in the making, which we all are. We would love to be able to hear that. And when I say that to Miranda, I also say that to you who watches this replay too. Maybe you've been following along and listening to what's been going on without stepping forward or letting us really know that you're interested because you don't quite know how you fit, or maybe you're a little nervous to do so. And what I know from the summits that we've had all of this time with all of these beautiful people in these boxes that we have to show up in, because that's just how this online platform works. Ultimately, I have seen the walls come down in these boxes throughout the weeks to support one another and to uplift and inspire and encourage. And I'm grateful that I've got to be part of every one of these. And so I celebrate each of us who have shown up week after week for the last 7 summits to be part of what we are making, and for being willing to create the vision together. And to be willing to say, okay, we don't necessarily have all the details figured out because we just feel the call, which is the difference between a vocation, a calling of the heart, a job, and a career. Those 3 are very different. And anyone coming here is looking for the vocation of calling, life purpose, knowing why you're coming. The career is what pays and where we sell out our soul for the sake of a profit to give our energy to someone else's dream. And then the job, we just show up. And then when we leave and get the paycheck, we don't have to think about it until we walk back in there. So that's really your 3-step difference. And I'm grateful to each of you. So I just wanted to share that because that piece of vocation, career, job was coming into my mind a few times. And the brilliance being shared has just flowed for more than an hour and a half. And I'm grateful to be part of a community where that's not only possible, but consistently possible. So I look forward to continuing this on, even though April 2nd is the deadline for the Album 22 project that we are currently.
We're close. We are really close.
Nearly have all of the song submissions for. So we did something that was nothing, and then now is a thing. And so well done all of us for being parents to a movement of creativity that will continue to meet and gather, because it's a grassroots movement. And it's a way that we can promote one another and get people understanding the warriors that are in this world, because we are the players on this field. Like, there isn't a savior coming, we're it. We just have to figure out what our heart calls us to do in that moment, so we can ride the moment so hard that we make it into the next magical experience saying, how did I get here? Because who am I to do these things? And then the question becomes, who am I not to? So final words, anyone? For our 7th summit. Miranda, hello.
Awesome.
Hi. Sorry guys. So I'm actually in the middle of I'm like in my 10-minute break before I go back to work. I'm actually at a music school right now, so you'll probably hear some kids and some sound, some music in the background. But I actually I guess I just got lost out of the loop in terms of the I was in the first summit.
Yes.
And then I was interested in being a part of everything, but I don't know what happened with like some of this. I guess basically I just wasn't getting whatever the message it was about when you guys were meeting, because like I would get the information the day of, so I couldn't really, like, for me, I would say moving forward, if there's a clearer way, whether it's a Telegram group or some kind of way, but just if there's some kind of defined way that people are going to communicate when the next meeting's happening, or if there's any say in terms of trying to find like another time. I know for me, I wanted to be at a lot of the meetings, but I wasn't able to because I've had a lot of stuff going on. But are you guys, I know you have a deadline coming April. Are you still accepting song submissions, or do you have another round?
Yeah. Yep, we've got a few more spots open.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, again, forgive me, I'm sorry that I'm kind of literally late to the party. But I was wondering, what's the theme? I guess I'm feeling a little overwhelmed because I found there was like a group on Facebook, and I entered that, but I'm just not really on Facebook. And then I kind of tried to reach out a couple times, but I just was wondering what's the theme again for the songs?
It's the hero's journey, or the sacred sojourn of the soul.
Okay.
Songs about your personal journey, journey to purpose.
Okay, cool. And okay, so then if I want to submit, there's some songs I could submit. There's a song I could submit that I'm thinking of. I could try to submit that over the weekend if that works for you guys. Where would I need to submit this? And email. Okay, and then do you need anything other than the file, or?
Yeah. So the song with a brief description of what it means, how it fits the purpose, the theme,
Okay.
and then a bio, and some artists are including a photo.
Bio and photo. Okay. Cool.
All of the details are on Meetup. We have the Peaceful Inner Warriors United group. So all of the details, including all of the links for the past summits, are posted there. All of the requirements for participating in Album 22, which is what we're calling the 22 song project that we're working on right now. All of those details are under Peaceful Inner Warriors United on Meetup. And then if you look at my YouTube channel, that's where all of these summits get posted, so that people are able to listen to the meetings every 2 weeks. So we have—
And also madhattermusic.org has the link through the For Artists section.
And Mad Hatter's Music has a link, you said?
Yeah, Mad Hatter Music, yep.
Brilliant.
Okay, Cool. Thank you for the meetup thing. Yeah, I didn't know about the meetup. So that's why, you know, so I didn't get any of that information. But now that I know, I can look it up.
Beautiful. Yes. And let us know if you've got any other questions or anything that you need. But basically, we're putting it all together. And so we're glad to have you back. And you're not late at all. You're actually perfectly on time because you didn't miss the deadline and you've got time to be able to decide. So you're perfectly on time. And maybe there was a reason for the gap. Well, there was, because it happened, right? So it's just really thinking about for yourself, for other people. It's like there's always a reason, there's an ebb and flow. So you're perfectly on time. And we're over time. So I really want to respect everybody's time. But I'm really glad that you showed yourself. You've got your final minutes of your break as well, Miranda. Really looking forward to seeing some of your music. We will continue to gather. Next Tuesday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, we do the Mental Health and Harmonizing Humanity with Music Summit. We can talk about the time because moving forward, it doesn't necessarily have to be at this time every time unless this is convenient, though I know that Luna is over and Jules are over in Europe. So that's part of the reason for doing it at 3:30 because that's their evening. And that Joy as well. She's in Ireland. My apologies.
I'm sorry I'm late because the message I thought was at 8:30 my time, which is like when I kind of logged on, but I'm obviously very late, so sorry. Can I just ask for the meetup? Where do I access that information? And
meetup.com is a really fantastic networking space where you can connect with people of like-minded interest groups, and we have Peaceful Inner Warriors United, which is basically my baby is the Peaceful Inner Warriors United, which I've been writing a book for 4 years about the transformation of self-image through the hero's journey from a spiritual perspective, which is where the sacred sojourn of the soul came from. So that whole philosophy has been interwoven into all of what's come. And so that's part of the reason I just call it PIWU for short form. And then I'll put the short form in the meetup as well. That makes more sense, I should say, in this moment. And on that note, any other questions, comments? Just blessings sent to everyone.
Yeah, I might have another song, Jared. So I can. Do you want me to email it to you? Is that the best thing to do?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's not mine. It's a group of other musicians who've written a song for the mothers and the babies and the survivors of the mother and baby home. So I was only talking to them today, a group of guys from the west of Ireland, and I put a backing vocal onto their song. So yeah, it might work as well. So I'll send it on to you, Jared. You can.
All right, I'll chat with you some more.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah, we're really looking to keep it so that it's one artist per, or one song per artist, just to make it so that it's a large number of people that get featured and exposed, and then also we can all be promoting one another. But I'm seeing the antsiness because it's time to go. So we're going to play. Amazing day today. Thank you guys. You're wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jared, for everything that you have done to bring this together as well. It's not to be the last thing to be stated as if it wasn't important, but it's the last thing to be stated because it's as important as anything other and the thing that we'll end on today. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Great job, Jared. Great. But we need to see William sometimes too.
Yes.
Yep. He's working on some issues, so we'll be back.
Yes. And we send blessings as well to everyone who is not in the screen. So sending love and upliftment and peace and possibility and the remembrance of who we truly are into the heart of everyone who hears what has happened in this sacred space. Thank you for gathering, and may we all hold that grace in our hearts until we gather next week for the Mental Health and Harmonizing Humanity with Music Summit.
All right. Woohoo!
Woo! That's exciting.
Thank you.